Okay, guys, welcome back to Gen Z Invest. Okay, so today Bitcoin is sitting at $67,000, 271. Okay, but we're not going to be talking about Bitcoin today. We're going to be talking about MSTR. Okay, so what I recently read up is that I saw some posts about MSTR being having a short squeeze in the next like 1 or 2 years. So, is it gonna happen? I don't know, but we're gonna do some research and check it out. Okay, to see that what are the conditions to enable a short squeeze to happen. All right, so let's go to the MSTR. Let's look at what's the MSTR price as of right now today. Okay, market is closed right now, so the after hours is 129.13. All right, so right now I would still say it's a pretty good buying opportunity if you're looking at it like a long term or waiting for a short squeeze especially. Okay, so let's go on to what are the conditions of a short squeeze. Boom. Okay, so we are right here. So right now I just searched up what are the conditions of a short squeeze. So in order for a short squeeze to happen, these are like the Google AI definition of what must happen, I guess. Okay, so a short squeeze occurs when a stock is being heavily shorted, of course. So one of the conditions is, of course, high short interest. Okay, later we're gonna search up what is the short interest of MSTR. Okay, then we're gonna find out is this like does it hit the first criteria or not. Okay, so the first criteria of course is high short interest, which is common sense. You know, if there's a high short interest, then it's much more likely that it's gonna get squeezed because like everyone is against the stock. Like Warren Buffett always say, when the market be greedy when the market is, oh my god, I forgot the saying. Okay, never mind. Be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. All right, so let's go on to the next point. Rapid price increase. Of course, this haven't happened yet. That's why I'm gonna like purchase it at like before. You want to purchase it before the short squeeze, of course, because you want to be in it when the price starts rapidly increasing, of course. Okay, so of course it hasn't happened yet, but there's always ways to see signs that it's gonna happen, like looking at technical analysis and all that. So it's also another form of spotting of a short squeeze, of course. Okay, but also what the other things we could have look at. Okay, that it's like let's not try to do all technic let's not all follow just technical analysis, because technical analysis alone is not going to tell the full story. All right, okay, what you want it to happen is you want to follow like what's happening in the balance sheet, what's happening fundamentally. Okay, can the company die or not? If you follow its basis, follow its intrinsic value, it it's impossible. Okay, it is possible for it to go below the intrinsic value, but it is impossible for it to go to zero, which means you have holding power. You can diamond hand it, you can hodl for as long as possible, and with time everything gets solved. All right, so let's go into the next point. Low liquidity or low float. What does it mean? Okay, that's simple. Fewer available shares for trading means that buy pressure for shorts covering their positions has more dramatic impact on the price. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to me? Okay, to me it's just having fewer shares on the market for the shorts. Okay, because when you short a stock, right, you are borrowing someone else's share. Okay, you're borrowing someone else's share to short the position and then buying it at a lower price to sell it back to them. Okay, and that's how you profit. All right. Okay, so if there's fewer shares in the market that are able to being short, let's say that's right now, all 100% of the shares in the market are being short. Okay, 100%, like this company, people believe this company is going to fail, goes to zero, all the hedge funds in the world. Okay, let's say that's like 1,000 shares of this company. Okay, and every single share of all these 1,000 shares is being short, which means it's 100% short rate. All right, and what if it goes beyond that? Okay, so what if more institutions want to short it because they believe it's going to go to zero? Then of course, can you go beyond 100%? The answer is yes. But how much beyond 100% can you go? Because there's only like a finite amount of shares in the market. Okay, and you're already like, let's say you're paying interest every time you're shorting, right? You're paying like some brokerage makes you pay like a small amount of interest to the person that you're borrowing the shares from. Okay, so how does it work? Like, if you're borrowing, let's say he has one share, okay, from this guy that you're borrowing from, but then you're borrowing more than one share because you already his share is already being borrowed by someone else. But the short interest is above 100%. So where you gonna get that share from? Of course, the brokerage is still gonna borrow his share, okay? But then they're gonna make it out of basically nothing. You're just short. It's just a risk for the broker. Okay? But I mean, it's not really a risk for them because you're paying them interest. So the share is being short way more than it has shares in the market. Does it make sense to you? Is it gonna last long term? The answer is no, of course. Alright? Okay, let's go on to like triggered events. Okay, that's like, of course, we're talking about MSCR. There are like basically events every day about Bitcoin, about, so this is absolutely unpredictable. So, due to this point right here, you know that the stock is so unpredictable that a short squeeze can happen any moment. So, how can you best prepare for it? Simple. Just buy it right now. You don't know when it's gonna go up. You don't know when's the next trigger event, alright? Or when's the next catalyst. But what you do know is it might happen anytime. So why waste this opportunity, right? Okay. Even if you guys like don't understand this point, which is basically just common sense, like, look at this. Any catalyst, such as earnings. Okay, obviously the previous earnings was not the best. Okay, so I wouldn't count that as like a catalyst. So any catalyst at this point would pop the price of BTC, which also would make MSCR goes ballistic. Alright? So anything at this point. Like, crypto could have a ETF. I mean, it already has, but like it probably could be in like the S&P 500. You never know, right? Never know, I guess. Like a few years back, I remember that MSCR was in the S&P 500, but it got delisted because of like some concerns or somewhat, because it said, I'm not really sure why it got delisted, but yeah. I'll have to check it on another video, right? Okay, so let's get back to the other points. All right, high short interest ratio. I would say it's the same thing as like high short interest, because like the ratio, days to cover it. Yeah, if short interest ratio is high, then you would want to exit. Like people are forced to exit the position. So yeah, it's almost the same, I guess. Then after that, there's also margin calls. Yep. Like, if the price rises too fast, then those shorts are gonna get margin call. After that, they're gonna be forced to close their positions, and then that makes the price go up even higher. Because when you close a short position, what are you doing? When you close a short position, what are you doing? When you're forced to close, what are you doing? You're selling. Oh wait, you're buying back. I'm saying it wrong. My bad, my bad, my bad. You're not selling anything. When you close a short position, you're buying. Okay? Because what you already did is you sold the stock already. Which means you already sold it. You don't have the stock. Okay, but you need to give it back to someone that you borrowed it from. Which means you have to buy it back. So let's say it goes to $1,000. You're trapped. What are you gonna do? And you're forced to margin call. You're forced to buy it back and give it back to the person. Because you borrowed something on an interest, unless you can uphold the margin level by having more buying power, or you just have to close the position. After that, like, it's long day for those people that shorting, you know? This is why shorting is so absolutely unpredictable. But at the same time, if you do it on the right companies, it's so profitable. Okay? But let's go on to further indicators and mechanics. Okay? Short covering loop. The act of covering, buying back shares, creates an infinite. This is what I explained just now. Alright? So it's just a loop. Like, once it starts, it's gonna go parabolic. Like, absolutely parabolic. Because right now, MSCI is just floating at this level. BTC is also floating at this level. It just takes one single catalyst for everything to go parabolic. So, how can you prepare for it once more? Just hold. Holding power is king, alright? Even even for you guys that are like shorting, you know, if you don't want to get liquidated, you probably exit the position right now at probably profit. You guys are probably in the profits, right? For those that are shorting, yeah, you probably want to exit right now, or maybe you think it's gonna go lower. Then after that, you would want to exit then. Okay, but I'm telling you, if you do not exit soon, it's gonna be too late. And when the next time you're gonna exit is gonna be when your margin called, which, you know, if you're already in the profit and then you get margin called, that is like two very big difference in emotions, you know. One, you're gonna be like on top of the wall. The other one, you're gonna be right beside Satan, you know. All right, so enough of yapping. Okay, guys. So, of course, another indicator, a very simple indicator we're going to talk about is the RSI, you know. Like, everyone knows the RSI. Don't even need to explain it. Or, all right, okay, if you need me to explain it, it's better for me to just show it to you. What is the RSI and how to use it, right? Okay, so let's go on to TradingView. All right, it's right here. Okay. As you can see, how just a simple way to use the RSI is just to, you know, look at you set the yellow part. Normally it's set at 14 is fine. Yeah. Normally you can put it closer to 30. I would put it closer to 30. But like, how do you set this? Alright, I have no idea how you set this. Okay, so basically the RSI is just, you look at the yellow line, alright? That is basically, it's like a moving average, right? So when it trades above this moving average, okay, you would want to, it's being oversold, of course. The further it goes beyond this moving average, the further oversold it's being. All right, as you can see right here. So these are the points that it's being oversold. Okay. And then what do you do when it's being oversold? The low points are where it's being oversold. And then look at all the points where it's being oversold. The next thing that happens is it pops up. Why does it happen? It's because it's being oversold. And when the stock is being oversold, you will want to buy it. Okay, and when it's being overbought, what happens to it? Look at it right here. Overbought, overbought, overbought. It hits past like 90 RSI right here. Overbought, severely overbought. And what happened? Boom, it comes crashing down. Why is that? It just follows the RSI, I guess. Okay, guys, have a nice day.